Miami Heat season came to a sad end last night. They lose in gentlemanly fashion, losing 5 to the Nuggets in a hard-fought Game 5. And so, Heat Nation hurting a little bit today. We got to do it again tonight with the Panthers. Panthers going in there, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. So we got to pay attention to that. But let's get to some of your calls. I promised I would go out to the phone line and hear from some of Heat Nation. Your camera, by the way, is pointing right at your chips, Leroy, just FYI. Chip Cam, Smitty, what's going on, dude?
Catch up, Tostitos.
Congratulations, Heat. Congratulations. It was a great season. You got nothing to feel bad about. I mean, this is 2 finals that we've had in a row where injuries pretty much killed us winning.
Yeah, they were very banged up at the end, Smitty. That's clear. But, the one thing I'll say the one thing that feels different about this one from 2020 is, the Goron injury and the Bam injury, that happened in Game 1. So you're adjusted on the fly right there. I'm not saying Jimmy's ankle wasn't a factor because it is, but I don't even think he wants to use an excuse because they won series without him with that ankle being banged up. But it's tough to know what days it tweaks, what day it feels bad, Leroy. And this is also a series where there were a lot of 2 days off between series. There was only one game where there wasn't. And honestly, I think that was probably one of Jimmy's better games was Game 4. So, yeah, it's a tough one for sure. Ricardo, what's going on, Ricardo?
Good morning, Cobes, Leroy, Marcos. How are we feeling on this Taco Tuesday?
Tacos would be nice right now, to be honest with you.
Hey, speaking of tacos, I'm eating something real nice.
What do you got?
Ketchup Doritos.
Really?
That's strange, though. That feels like that should be a -1.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, +1. I need some chips in my life.
Hey.
What do you think?
Well, like them.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Hey, I'm a fan of ketchup chips.
They're good.
My wife, that's one of the things Canada has to offer. Ketchup chips, maple syrup, my wife, and Tim Hortons.
What do you got, Ricardo? What do you got to say about the game this season? What are your thoughts, man?
Well, firstly, just to go over the season, I mean, it was a hell of a roller coaster to say the least. But ever since we stepped into the playoffs, I kind of knew that Miami had every force and will to just blow through, each team in each round and eventually get to where we were. But it was definitely very sad to see how they ended, very banged up and just out of sorts. And like how Leroy said, very start of the season Miami Heat basketball that kind of made us a little antsy and worried as to where this team was going to go. But given everything that was said and done, we should be proud of this team, what they were able to do, backs against the wall, against the world. And, all we got to do now is what Bam said, take these lessons, take it on our shoulders, and move forward with everybody for next season and just get ready. But got to grieve now and just learn. But be proud of this team. We fought.
I agree.
That's what fighters do.
Goosies.
So thank you, guys.
All right.
Goosies.
I can't, as frustrated as we got with this team, if you look at the beginning of the year and where you ended up, I got nothing but a standing O for him.
It does feel like, though, it's going to be interesting how we take in the regular season next year. That's why
this is what sucks about it. Let me tell you what sucks about it, because people like Shaq, people that have played the regular season and say, don't worry about it, we'll get it when the playoffs start. Don't you dare come in next year with that nonsense, because no, that's the thing. I'm scared. You're thinking the same damn thing.
I am.
Oh, no, because guess what they said all year? Don't worry about it. We'll get it. Don't worry.
Schmeeth and Schmolnick says, you guys sound like your puppy died. Grow up, Peter Pan.
Always
can count on Schmeethan for the right tone of things.
Yes, but here's the deal, Schmeethan. You can be disappointed yet proud. You can be disappointed it ended the way it did and still be proud of what this team did.
That's why I find
you can't be one or the other.
That's why I find it laughable for anybody who's just like, oh, you guys were finally exposed. It's like in the finals?
Right.
That's your own right there. Like for every New York Knicks fan or Boston Celtic fan or Milwaukee fan or Philly fan that has anything to say about Miami, like, hey, dude, but you had little sombreros on your thumbs in Cancun. Shut the hell up. What do you have to say? What's up, handsome Daffy?
What's going on, man? What's up, Tobin, Leroy, Marcos, and Jay Fig? All right. It was a successful season. Sum it all up, piggybacking off what Leroy said. You had a good team that got us to the dance, but we need a bona fide scorer to bring that pretty girl home with us. You know what I'm saying? That's my only takeaway. And we need a bona fide scorer and a solid big man. I'm not knocking Bam. But let's be real, man. He's a power forward. He's not a center.
They need what they need is they need at least they need somebody who can give him some relief, like somebody who's playable. And
but here's the thing. And this is why I haven't gone there with you.
Mm-hmm.
We were all excited for the Cody Zeller minutes.
Don't say
month
that name
ago.
around me.
Regular season.
Say that name around me.
Regular season Cody Zeller was not playoff Cody Zeller.
Same thing with K-Love. Right?
I don't feel like Caleb played a bad playoffs. I think Caleb's old, dude. It's very clear.
I know.
He's old. Like,
what did you think eventually it was going to look like? Cody Zeller was never going to be that same player. That's why he was available.
I wish that they would have pulled the plug on Cody Zeller like in the Knicks series. Like when Cody Zeller peaked at the fight with Julius Randle. Like that's when Cody Zeller peaked. At that point, they should have either been grooming Omer Yurtseven, giving Omer Yurtseven some minutes. I couldn't see him anymore.
I wish they would have gave Big Yurt.
Me too.
Wait, here you go. Mr. Grips. Dude, no one was excited for Cody Zeller. -1, Leroy.
-1.
Come on. We came in here praising Cody Zeller.
Well, dude, right. Cody, first of all, there's two things. One, it was replacing Dwayne Dedmon, who was literally the most hated guy on the team. So anybody was going to look good next to Dwayne Dedmon. Second of all, yeah, regular season Cody Zeller, pretty good. Playoff Cody Zeller, it was a torpedo. Frank, what's going on, dude?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys.
Hello.
Two things. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Frank.
Hello. Okay. All right. First of all, why is everyone surprised? Oh, the Cinderella season. Last year, both the Panthers and the Heat were #1 seeds. If we were both in the finals last year, no one would be surprised. My second thing.
I mean, did you watch the seasons this year, though?
Yes, I know, but injuries. But when we came to playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised because we were 1 seed last year. That's my one thing. My second thing is for next year, and I'm really pissed off. I think Vegas just hates Miami in general because already they have Memphis, Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Golden State, and Denver all ahead of Miami in the ranking in the percentage. Like Miami's plus 3,000 to win it next year. I'm like, we're in the finals. We should be in the top 2 or 3.
So go put some money down on it, Frank.
I know. I'm just saying. I think Vegas hates Miami because they're putting us so low.
I mean, if you saw the point spreads throughout the playoffs, it would be hard to argue. Yeah. It would be hard to argue they did not respect this team very much because it felt like they were 9-point spreads basically
every
game. So,
I mean, hell, they won the Milwaukee series 4-1, and all 5 of those games they were double-digit underdogs.
Yep, crazy. One more call before we hit the break. Sean, what's going on, Sean?
Hey, man, thanks for taking my call. I just want to say something real quick. I think the Heat fans should be proud of this team because the reality of this Heat roster is this. Only one player on this roster would be a starter for the Denver Nuggets. So they were up against it the whole time. So that's all I got. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
All right, there you go. Sean in Miami. We'll take a quick break. We'll hear some more post-game action. You guys can text us at 305-567-0560. Text the ticket driven by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. We also have a pair of Marlins Blue Jays tickets. The Marlins did lose yesterday. They lost. I know nobody was.
Finally broke they were on a nice little run.
Yeah, they
got. Hey, so now all of our attention is with the Panthers.
Yep.
We got a game 5.
We got 3 things to focus on. Panthers.
One thing.
What do you mean?
Panthers.
No, I got my focus elsewhere too. Panthers, Marlins, whale watching.
Panthers. Ain't nothing gonna happen in 24 hours with the other 2.
We'll see. You never know.
No, really? You think Pat Riley's already working the trade?
Pat Riley and Spo may already be at Spo's Steakhouse in Portland.
-1.
What? You didn't believe Chris Sims.
It's true.
You were supposed to do that.
-1.
It's 2 -1s.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. Sick of watching these Nuggets celebrate. It hurts.
Yeah, you sound literally sick of these Nuggets.
I don't feel great today. I don't. But
yeah,
whatever.
I understand though. You had to show up.
Had to show up.
No
I can't no-show the post.
Right.
That's gutless.
Yeah.
If Jimmy can play on a sore ankle, I can play with a sore throat.
You got a sore throat?
Not really. It's more stuffed up with this giant nose.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it is. All that smoke inhalation from
no.
Oh yeah, those
Although
chemicals.
It does feel like I risked that all for nothing.
I know.
That was really all for nothing.
Did D find out?
No. And she won't.
Whoa! Where are you, J Fig?
Hey, J Fig.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
I sound great?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Where are you?
So I had a car malfunction basically.
Oh, geez.
And I had to pull over and stop in the nearest house that I felt comfortable in. And this is what I got into.
Oh. Well, whoever's house you're on wants Dame time.
I think they do.
Are people as excited for the off season as they were for the finals?
Hey, tell them take that sweater off. It's hot as hell outside.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a sweater. Come
Dude
in.
looks like a Jokic brother.
He's actually very large.
Let's get into some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Panthers.
Let's go. Let's hope.
Yes.
I knew I was in trouble. I was watching the game with my jacuzzi and it started pouring.
Oof.
We had some turtles lost. The bugs were eating me.
Leroy told me a ridiculous story of turtles running away. I don't know how I feel.
Like, how does a turtle run away? I saw a big turtle take an hour and a half to get across my backyard. And they're smaller.
So like when the lightning hit, that's when they scattered?
No. Okay. I'm already in trouble, but I'm gonna just go ahead on and tell the story.
Oh boy.
So my wife, who misses Rebecca, God, so much because they've never been separate, right? And Rebecca's at away camp. So Mel goes into her room and says, "Oh, this turtle thing is disgusting." Right?
So you guys have like a turtle tank?
Like a tank. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got a big turtle like this.
Okay.
And then a little baby turtle, right? She brings it outside, empties it. You know that little island that I have? Like with she grows stuff in it or whatever with the lights in it. She puts the turtles in there.
Like it's their environment?
She puts them in there instead of putting them in another tank.
Huh.
So she washes it out. It starts raining, pouring. Turtles gone. What? They made a run for it. I'm like, how far could the turtles run?
Free boys.
Right. So
were they wearing bandanas?
So
did they get mentored by a rat?
So
pizza stealing.
So after a few minutes, the little one tried to make a run for it out of the thing across. Oh, there's one right there. But the big one can't find him.
Wow.
So she had to break the news to Rebecca.
Oh, I just got another turtle.
That's what I said. Just go buy another turtle. She don't look. She's not holding the turtle and petting it like a dog. She ain't gonna even notice.
Yeah.
Nope. No. She calls and says, "I owe you a pet." Hold on. We don't know. You don't just go random pet over a little bitty turtle.
Yeah, you gotta watch your words.
likeness. You replace likeness. turtle for turtle. Don't come home with a ferret or a bird or something like that. No.
Because
this isn't AT&T. You don't get to upgrade.
Because if
Never
Stitchy
the
Mouse,
bird.
like,
Never the bird.
you might end up with like a sugar glider in your house or something like that.
Right. So I'm like, no. So that was it.
You got to swap that turtle, dude.
It's too late. She already told him.
Damage is done.
I would have put the turtle in.
All right. Let's hear a little bit from Eric Spoelstra. One of the big headlines going into yesterday's game was Tyler Herro.
And they asked him why he didn't play?
He did not. Yeah, they asked him why he didn't play. He was available. All hands on deck, he said before the game.
Oh, he did. He said in his interview before the game, I'm glad everybody's available. He didn't say he was playing everybody.
He didn't. He was coy about it. But this was Spo on not playing Tyler.
It's just a really tough call, and I'll probably have to wrestle with that all summer. I've never been in an experience like this. I just know that the way this game was played is totally different than you can't even compare it. It's another sport in the regular season, but first round, this is totally different the way this game was played. Second round, totally different. Yeah, even the conference finals, the physicality and what they let play, and I think they should have. This is what it should be about is let the players decide. But that's the hardest played, most physical, competition you can have, and that would be a tough thing, for a guy that's been out for 2 months that hasn't had any kind of ramp up. But that won't save me from, thinking about that for the next few weeks.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Like, they really needed some scoring, and so it's hard not to look and say, like, man, why not just give it a wing? But there's a lot of pushing, a lot of grabbing.
Right. Like, you as a coach, if you throw Tyler Herro in there, are you saying I might be putting him in harm's way because they're going to be really physical with him?
Right.
And so these are all the things, and I think that's what he was trying to get at without saying that,
Yeah, I don't trust him in that situation.
Well, not
or
that he doesn't
I don't
trust
feel like
him.
that's going to go
He's
well.
like almost saying that Tyler couldn't handle the physicality.
I would have
It was very physical yesterday.
It was very physical.
Very physical.
I mean,
did you see
balls were getting punted into the stands?
Did you see Gabe? Oh my goodness.
Gabe
was like a bug on the windshield. And he was oh my goodness. I mean, yeah.
Gabe Vincent got a little bit of the Duncan Robinsons where he was just getting foul calls for existing.
For sure, man.
I mean,
they had it out for him.
Now, I will say this. The style of game that Gabe plays, they allowed him to be extremely physical up top, right? However, I mean, he's small.
Yeah. It was the first time this year I was like when Gabe pulled up for that three, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because he's just had a rough go of it lately.
Really was.
Well, you got to
ride with it.
What do they preach?
You got to ride with it.
You got to look, if that's what got you there, make or miss, you live with that.
Jimmy's threes were the only thing that I was like, look, dude, if you're not gonna go to the rim, what he did in the last 3 minutes of that game, I'm like, you couldn't uncork that
yeah, for sure,
once or twice.
I think
just to keep him honest.
There's a few times during this series where I've watched the game and felt as if though Jimmy was lost as far as when to do what. Right? Like there were times where Jimmy needed to start taking over the game a lot sooner. And I don't know whether it was health related, whether it was, but just to turn it on with the 5 minutes left to go in the game, with the way the game was being played, I just thought at times he was not aware that he should have been doing this sooner.
I agree. No, It's like one of those things where it's like, and then it gets to your point of the whole scoring thing. It's like, I think Jimmy Butler has the talent to score, but like, you got to always have that mentality of like going after it and not always setting your shooters
right
up. Like
his mentality is not that of a scorer, even though he can score.
It feels like he needs somebody to trash talk him to turn into that.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes like he needed some disrespect from KCP.
So strange. It's strange that we can see that ferocious player and know that that's like Jimmy Butler almost. And then there's other times where it looked like he was trying to get bailed out by a role player. And that's a weird.
And it's rare that you get that called out on a broadcast. But Mark Jackson, who always kind of does the "tell your body not now" thing, but like he came in with like the no excuses hard on Jimmy, where he was like, he goes Jokic ankle, Bam Adebayo ankle, Jamal Murray ankle. I don't want to hear anything about ankle. Go Jimmy Butler. I was like, damn, all right, that's a hard call out.
Which is right. What like, and I mean, yeah. Like, you can't have the same injuries like all these other guys. Now, we don't know. Here's the problem. When we watch a game on TV and we see a guy playing, we don't know how hurt he is, right? Because if the same guy were to say, I can't go, I'm not 100%, you would say, we'll take 80% of you. Right. But then when you get 80%, you can't then complain about the injury.
Well, that's the thing is like, I don't want you look, be mad about the loss. I'm not saying you can't be mad and disappointed. Like, I even feel like today.
What's going on over there?
It's him.
Hey, both
okay,
you
dude.
guys,
Okay.
both of you guys stay over there.
Oh, you think I got you?
You know
sick
what?
of
I'm really glad that I'm not there because last time I was there and Tobin was sick, I was
Whatever's
sick.
dripping out of your nose is a lot.
It's a lot. I know.
You need a drip bucket.
Like, I know,
just
buddy.
put like a little thing around it.
But yeah, you can be mad about the loss. The one thing I'll say though for Heat Nation is like, don't disrespect Jimmy Butler after something like after the year that he gave, because he really dragged this team all the way.
Yeah, absolutely,
all the way here.
Absolutely.
And so it's one of those things where I feel like you still got to be, you still should be really grateful for the run and what this guy's time on the Heat has been. I really want him to get a ring. Like I don't want Jimmy Butler's career to end without a championship. I don't want, and in a lot of ways, I don't want it to be like Alonzo Mourning, where it's like, other guys pass him by, and then he's, kind of the intense, extra part of a championship. Like, I think Jimmy Butler is good enough to be the best player on a champion. I do think that they can make some tweaks to make this roster a little bit better.
You see, I never disagree with you, but now I do. And it has
you never
nothing.
Disagree with me? Did you really say that?
Didn't disagree with you about Jimmy Butler.
I got you.
But I do now. It has nothing to do with his ability, but his mindset is not that of the guy you're talking about. And we've had this conversation a lot during the playoffs, is that there's too many times where he's unaware when it's time.
There's no way you got it that quick.
That is crazy. Hey guys, stay in that studio. If that's
okay. There's far too many times where we've said it's time for Jimmy to take over, and he didn't. And so you can't have those questions with the guy that's supposed to lead your team. You just can't. And it's how he plays. And I'm not going to fault him for it, but you need that dude. Jimmy can be that dude. He chooses not to.
But, okay, he chooses not to. They haven't gotten to the finish line. But, like, how many big games, elimination games, does he have to put forth with big scoring nights?
I'm not saying he can't do it. But who else is going to do it on this team?
No, they need it to be
Then
him.
why? Okay.
But is the team, like, they just ran it? Like, I do agree. I think they ran to a better team.
I'm going out with Jimmy. Okay? I'm not going out with Jimmy trying to get assists or involve the other guys. He has to be that guy. So you can't sit here and tell me he can be the number one guy when we just saw a series where he wasn't aggressive enough trying to be that guy.
But why wasn't he? That's the thing.
I don't know.
That's the thing.
I don't know, but we had, this wasn't the first time during this. Maybe it was since the ankle. So I'm not going to totally just go down this path. But there's too many times where we said, "What? Like, if it's not Jimmy, who is it? It has to be Jimmy." And he wasn't that guy for whatever reason. And he says, hey, he said it, his own words. I'm not a scorer. Okay, choose to say what you want about it. But every time he went in the paint, he was looking to pass it instead of being a scorer.
Yeah, he wasn't as effective in the paint. But he usually is.
I'm taking
just do that.
What I watched, right? And you're taking what you've seen in the past.
I just think it's crazy if a Heat fan thinks that even if you add like a Bradley Beal, you think that Bradley Beal is going to be the killer at the end of the games and not Jimmy.
No. I'm not. No. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that this team with a bona fide scorer allows Jimmy to be more Jimmy, right? Because he's not going to be that dude.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree all the way with what you're saying, because I do think this team needs
a half-ass agreement.
It's a half-ass agreement. It's like
you out.
I agree that I do think that they need a guy, especially a guard, who can be that guy who can light it up. And we saw, like, when they had Caleb, who's not really a guard, he's a wing, but Caleb and Gabe, when they had those games, yeah, it did make life a lot easier. So I'm not completely disagreeing with you, but I think ultimately, whoever they get, yeah, I still think Jimmy Butler can be the best player on that team. I think that they need some better, I do think it would be nice if that they had, that one consistent scorer.
I give you a better. Let me see if I can comparison. DeMar DeRozan, very similar player to Jimmy, with how they score. Okay. And he's had those big moments where he scored a lot of points. But he plays alongside Zach LaVine, who is considered more of a scorer, right? So I would guess you would compare Tyler Herro.
I would say DeMar DeRozan's a better scorer than Zach LaVine.
But would you say Tyler Herro's a better scorer than Jimmy?
I would say it's different. Like, I think what this series probably called for, and that's why, you can't always just say blanketed, he can't do this in a championship. In this series, that guy who could give the pull-up jumper consistently, like Tyler Herro does, that's his sweet spot. So, yeah, that was definitely missing, because in that spot, that's not Jimmy's game. Jimmy's game is bully ball down the rim. Every once in a while, throw a three, getting past it. I know, but I'm just saying, but the reason is he had a giant Serbian under there.
And
I think
think when has that ever stopped anybody? You see what I'm saying? If you're being stopped by somebody like that, then you're not that dude.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
I do think he should have been a more maybe go for the foul.
I just think it's ridiculous hold on. We can't sit here and talk about Jim VP, Jimmy Butler, best player in the world, and because they lost to and he did this with the supporting cast that he did.
I mean, he disappeared in the Boston series.
He disappeared. He
disappeared.
He had 2 bad games, Marcos.
3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't kiss the picture of him nose to nose with Grant Williams?
Oh, I loved it so much.
Okay. You didn't like Jimmy Butler going in decapitating Boston in Boston?
Loved it.
I'm not in. Here's what I don't want to do.
How do you know I kissed that picture?
I don't want to get into the conversation that makes Jimmy look like he's anything less than what he is. And I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. Jimmy's great. I'm not disputing that. Okay. But when you look at these teams that are competing for championships, okay, your star, your one, has to know when that time is. And too many times in this postseason, we have come in here after a game and go,
hold on. Did we come in? Let me ask you something, though. In fairness, did we come in more games after this postseason and say Jim VP? Or do we say more games in this postseason that said Jimmy's not that guy? Because I think if you're honest with yourself, we were celebrating Jimmy Butler a lot more than doubting him.
But here's the deal. Are we basing it on winning or losing?
You're basing it on winning.
But you see what I'm saying? Are we basing Jimmy being the aggressor on winning or losing? And if they won, then 18 points was enough. And then if they lost, then he needs to be more aggressive. I'm trying not to do that. Because there's been in the Boston series, we talk about Caleb, we talked about Gabe Vincent.
That's fine. You can talk about them, but Jimmy Butler, it's not egregious that Jimmy Butler was the MVP of that series. It's not.
No, it's not. I'm not saying it at all. Even though Caleb Martin could have very easily.
Do you know how many points Jamal Murray scored yesterday?
2. No, he scored what? 12? 13?
14.
14.
Does anybody care?
No.
You think he's a bona fide scorer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but he's got Jokic.
Okay. Well, now we're having a different, like, if you're talking about who has the better team top to bottom, I'm not going to sit here and argue that Denver doesn't.
But what I'm saying is if Jamal Murray didn't have Jokic, right? And then he had those 14 points. You'd be having the same conversation about him. Oh, you're supposed to be a scorer. You got to go get yours. You got to go. Your team needs you to be that dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, he has Jokic, so it's not imperative that he scores 30. But he going to get you.
But that's the type of player. But I understand. I understand, but that's the type of player you're saying the Heat need to add. You're saying, like, if you're adding a Dame Dollar, you're adding a Jamal Murray. Like, that's what you're saying is the missing piece of this team. And I'm saying
no. If you add a Dame Dollar, he would be more equivalent to what Jokic is, and that is a guy that every night you can count on.
And I get
25
you, and I get you, and I love Dame Dollar, and he's going to the Hall of Fame, and he's one of the best snipers of all time.
Right.
Jimmy Butler's gotten a lot further in the playoffs along than he has being the number one guy.
Okay.
He has.
All right.
He has.
All right.
So that's why I say,
are we running it back?
No, God, no, we can't do that.
Okay.
Please, not again. No. I need some slash. I need those.
Like, so we're sitting here, we're evaluating what happened and what's going on, right? And what could get better, right? And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You need that dude. Every team, look, you go through these playoffs, and the Heat has ran up through those dudes. I'm not saying that they haven't.
He's beaten Giannis, and he beat Tatum and Brown.
I just basically said they ran through those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But year after year after year, the people who are always going to be there are the teams that have that dude.
Take a quick break. Back after this.